Hello, welcome to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Mo and this is your channel FPL Inklink, where I'll be bringing you all the best and the latest FPL content for the season of 2021-2022. So today is the video for my final draft for game week 1. So this is my team that I'll be hopefully going in with in less than 48 hours. So I'm going to go through my team, my rationale, why I've chosen these players and why I believe that this will be the best team for me to get the maximum points from game week 1. So just before we get stuck in, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and join the FPL Inklink family itself. So let's start off with the beginning, guys. So in terms of my goalkeepers, so since day one when I started to make my drafts, I've always stuck with Sanchez. So Sanchez for Brighton. They've got some decent fixtures coming up, and I think against Burnley away, they should be able to keep a clean sheet. That's my opinion. But also, he's got some really good ability to make some saves from last season. Owned by 23.6% of managers. But for me, that shows that, almost 1 in 4 managers in this game is actually trusting him. At 4.5, I think he's a real bargain. Could be the Martinez from last season. And I think in terms of his first couple of game weeks, he's got some really decent fixtures, starting off with Burnley away, Watford at home, and even Everton at home. It says a difficulty of 4. But, they've got a new manager under Rafa, so potentially there should be some really good points there up for grabs, even with Brentford in game week 4. So they're playing 2 of the promoted sides from the Championship in the first 4 game weeks. So that's why I've chosen Robert Sanchez. In terms of my backup goalkeeper, I've chosen Ben Foster. Again, highly popularly owned, 27.5% of managers are owning him as a reserve keeper potentially, because I don't think he'll be getting first team minutes for Watford. But again, it's nice to have him on the team itself. So what makes me different in terms of most of the experts at the moment, and what's kind of making me make this decision at present, is the fact that I'm playing the 5-3-2 formation. So as you guys have been watching my previous drafts, one of the main things that I've been kind of focusing around is I really wanted Harry Kane in my team. Personally, I wish his transfer had all been kind of like rectified by now, all kind of completed, and we actually kind of knew that he's available for game week 1 or not, and he's probably going to be available for game week 2. I'm not too sure at present, but we'll discuss Harry Kane a bit more once we get to the strike force itself. Let's start from the back. So at the 5 defenders, I'm starting off with Cresswell. So Cresswell, first game is against Newcastle, has some really decent fixtures in the first 5 as well. Some people are doubling up on West Ham, so they're getting like Cresswell, Benrahma, Cresswell, Antonio, Cresswell, and even Kofal doubling up in defence. Some people are going treble West Ham. I think that's a bit too much personally, but for me, I think Cresswell is absolutely fine. If I wanted to raise another $500,000 somewhere in the squad, then I could obviously go for Kofal. What I was potentially looking at here at the moment, because I'm making the changes and I've got $500,000 spare. If Robertson was fit for game week 1, I probably would have downgraded Cresswell to Kofal and upgraded Diaz with the extra $500,000 I had as a spare budget, plus the $500,000 I'd save from Cresswell. I would have upgraded Diaz to Robertson for the first couple of game weeks, but it's not to be, so I'm leaving Cresswell in for now. My next defender is Ruben Dias from Manchester City. First difficult game is against Tottenham, which a lot of people are being put off by Manchester City assets. They're the best team in the country, guys, from last season. They won the Premier League. He's owned by, again, 27.5% of managers, 142 points respectively last year. Playing first game away at Spurs, so, there is a potential goal threat of Son. Not too sure about Kane playing or not, but Lucas Moura, Dele Alli. There's a lot of threat on the pitch by Spurs themselves. So I've gone for Diaz for a long term. I've been asked a lot of questions about why not Cancelo. I think Cancelo will start off with quite a few minutes, but then obviously as the season progresses, it will kind of fade out in itself as well. So that's the reason why I've chosen Ruben Dias as my main defender for now. The next defender I've chosen is Ben White from Arsenal. Recent signing, 50 mil. In the game itself, 4.5 mil. 25% of managers own him at the moment. Kind of a safe bet. So there's 2 centre-backs out of my 5. In terms of the game week 1, they've got Brentford in less than 2 days, then Chelsea and Man City. And then they've got some really nice fixtures after that, including Norwich, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Hove Albion, and Newcastle, Aston Villa itself. So for me, Ben White, I think I've seen a lot of potential in them. Not many returns in terms of goals and assists, but this may be the season with Arsenal. He may get the service and get a few assists as well. My 4th defender, highest owned player in terms of defensive, is 54.2% is Luke Shaw. I think he's ready to start this weekend against Leeds, 5.5 mil. So for me, slightly underpriced. Should have been around 6 mil. I've said that from day one. I think he's underpriced. Could have been 6.5 as well. He had his best season last season in terms of FPL. 5 goals and 1 assist. Sorry, 1 goal and 5 assists, if that had been. I think he'll probably build on that this season. Player of the season for United for me, and player of the kind of tournament for England in Europe as well. So probably going to build on that. And in terms of fixtures, I think United have some really generally favourable fixtures to begin with in terms of defensive or offensively. Leeds at home, Southampton away, Wolves away, Newcastle home, West Ham away, and then they've even got Aston Villa at home. So there's some really good fixtures, and then the fixtures will take a spin in game week 7. But for now, some people are actually doubling up on United defenders with Wan-Bissaka, either Maguire or Luke Shaw. In defensively, even Dean Henderson they're looking at as well, or De Gea in terms of goals, in terms of goalkeepers as well. So that's something that people have kept in mind. But I've gone for Luke Shaw only from United in this defence at present. My last but not least, I'm using my 5th defender. It's going to be Luca Digne. So again, owned by 20.5% of managers, so quite high ownership, personally. 120 points last season, didn't really get a full season due to injury. He got around 2,680 minutes, 120 points with 9 assists. I think we can really build on that. There's been a lot of skepticism on social media around, with Benitez, is he going to be more defensive rather than offensive, but he's on set pieces, guys. He'll take corners, he'll take free kicks, and I think by nature, even though he might be a bit more assured defensively, but he will get forward and he will look to make a difference to the front line as well. And with DCL and Richarlison when he's back, it can only get better, right? And obviously they've got Townsend now as well. There's a expectability that he may take free kicks, but I still think you can't discard Luca Digne from his previous performances. There is a great likelihood he could have a really good season under Rafa Benitez. And in terms of the first 10 game weeks, guys, for me, overall, I think Everton have the best fixtures in the first 10 game week slot. You can see there's hardly any red barring Manchester United, a couple of greens and a couple of greys. With Southampton, Leeds, Brighton, Hove, Albion and Burnley in the first 4 games, there is no reason why they can't get 4 clean sheets to begin with. However, in terms of the clean sheets, I also believe that he's got credibility to get an offensive return. So, he can be attacking as well and get you an assist or potentially even a goal in his locker. So that's my defence, guys. So what do you think of the 5 defenders? Cresswell, Diaz, White, Shaw and Digne. Now moving on to my midfield. Now I've got 3 midfielders that I've got on the pitch. My 2 midfielders off the pitch who will be looking to come in and fill in the gaps is Bissouma, 4.5 mil for Brighton, and Billy Gilmour on loan at Norwich from Chelsea. I think these 2 will be kind of like playing week in, week out. Not expecting much points from them, but if I have any outfield player not playing, I have these 2 to cover my track. So my captain is Mo Salah for game week 1, owned by 50.5% of managers already. He's going to be playing Norwich in his first game week. 22 goals and 6 assists last season. This guy is phenomenal. He's in the top 3 point scorers of FPL last season, along with Harry Kane and Bruno Fernandes. Rightfully priced at 12.5 mil. He's got over 225 points over the last 4 seasons, so I don't see any different this season. If anything, I can see him hitting 300 points again. He's been fresh. But the only thing that might kind of get in the way of that is the African Cup of Nations in January. But we're not going to worry about that just yet. He's going to be in my squad, and I'll tell you the reason why he's my captain is because of their fixtures. If you look at it from a perspective of fixture difficulty, Norwich, Burnley, obviously Chelsea's going to be a difficult game, then Leeds United, Crystal Palace, Brentford, Watford in game week 8. So they're playing 3 of the promoted sides from the Championship in the first 8 game weeks. And I just can't see myself going in to this transfer window without Mo Salah. In this first kind of like part of the season without Mo Salah. Yes, I'm going without Trent, but I think it may affect Liverpool's defence without having Robertson. So how much will that impact them defensively and offensively in terms of Trent? We'll have to wait and see. So Mo Salah is in. He's going to be my captain for most weeks out of the first 10 game weeks. Potentially for game week 3, I might look elsewhere, but that's why I've got Mo Salah in at present. The next midfielder is Bruno Fernandes. 49% of managers are almost owning him at the moment. 32 returns last season in terms of goals and assists. 244 points, the highest point scoring player last season. And in terms of fixtures, we've gone through them already for United. 12 million price, it's a no-brainer for me. I will be having him in my squad. And then final minute change has been Son for Harrison because Kane is not available. I've brought in Son. Yes, they've got Manchester City in game week 1. He's owned by nearly 22% of managers. 28 goal returns last season, 228 points. His highest point tally. So that's the first time he's crossed 3,000 minutes. And I think if he gets the same game time this season, with or without Kane, he will hit the 200-point mark. After the City game, they got Wolves away, Watford at home, Crystal Palace away. So not bad fixtures whatsoever until they hit their local derbies of Chelsea and Arsenal in game weeks 5 and 6. There's a new manager under Nuno. They've got a new, kind of like, it could be defensive partnership because obviously they've lost Alderweireld as well. So we'll have to wait and see how they are defensively. And they could lose their main striker, Harry Kane, as well. So that is something that's going to have to be considered. But again, Son, he has those moments in the season where he can actually take games and rip them apart and can get big hauls as well. So I'm going for Son at the start of the season. Again, if Kane does get his transfer through, then Harrison will come in for Son and Danny Ings will go out for Harry Kane. So Danny Ings, last minute replacement, almost 29%, or just over 29% of managers have actually owned him. And that's pretty much to do with the fact that the fixtures of Aston Villa are looking incredible in the first 3 game weeks. So they've got Watford away, Newcastle at home and Brentford at home. So you can see they're playing 2 of the 3 promoted sides from the Championship. Now Danny Ings will be on penalties for me. Yes, El Ghazi has taken him previously. He will be on penalties. If he stays fit, this guy is an absolute lethal machine. So he only got 131 points last season, but almost hit 200 points the season before with 2,800 minutes, 22 goals with 2 assists. And he got 12 goals last season, guys, as well, under a Southampton team which doesn't create much. This guy is an absolute amazing footballer. And from an FPL point of view, if he starts off really well with his 3 game weeks, you'll see that ownership go up much higher to around the 40% mark and over. But again, guys, for me, this is just a temporary move. As soon as Kane becomes available, either Spurs or Man City, he will go straight back into my squad. So that's why Danny Ings is like a short-term fix for that. Last but not least, I've got Patrick Bamford. So 20% of managers own him from last season, 194 points, 28 goal returns with 17 goals and 11 assists. Now, what we have here in terms of fixtures, they look difficult. But remember, he's not a defender. So I'm looking at it more of a defensive point of view. Whether it's a simple kind of like, an easier fixture on paper or a difficult fixture, Bielsa always goes in with the attacking mindset. So I think there'll be a good chance that he'll get some good returns in on penalties, and he likes to give an assist as well. He's not a selfish player at all. United, Everton, Burnley, Liverpool, difficult games. But then after that, look at that amazing run from Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves and Norwich. Looks like a good stretch of games for Leeds United itself. So they've got Rafinha, Jack Harrison, Dallas, they've Luke Ayling, they've got the service in the team. Literally, it's now just about making sure that they can actually gel like they did the season before. Will they have the second season syndrome as Leeds United, as other clubs have had in the Premier League who've done well in their first season? We're just going to have to wait and see. But for me, this guy performed so well last season that I just can't make this draft without Patrick Bamford. So that's my squad, guys. I'm going for a 5-3-2. What are your thoughts? Do you like it? Give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet to FPL Inklink, hit that subscribe button, be part of this community and help this channel grow. And also, if you haven't joined the league, the code's on the screen, guys. Tap that in and be part of the FPL Inklink League start of the season. Have a good one. I'll be back with a live deadline stream tomorrow, so tune in. Till then, take care of yourself and get your teams in.